The galaxy was on fire. Two great empires, the Zarkan and the Velari, had been at war for nearly 50 years. Their ships burned entire planets. Their weapons shattered moons. Billions had died. Cities floated in space as dust. Peace was a word no one remembered. Every species was forced to pick a side. The Galactic Council begged for help. Even neutral worlds were pulled in. Everyone had to fight. Except one. Earth. The humans. They stayed silent. They watched. Their ships never moved. Their leaders never spoke. No messages came from their side. They just listened as the galaxy begged for aid. At first, no one noticed Earth's silence. They were small, weak, not part of the Council's core members, no major fleets, no famous generals, no strange technology, just an old planet with a strange history. But as more planets burned, the Council began to ask, why hasn't Earth sent anyone? So, they sent an ambassador. His name was Vel Terran. He had brokered peace on 4 star systems. He had survived 3 assassinations. He believed no one could say no to him. He traveled to Earth alone. He expected fear. He expected fast agreement. He got silence. The humans welcomed him kindly. They gave him food. They listened as he spoke about the war, the deaths, the danger. They didn't argue. They didn't smile. They didn't frown. They simply said, "We remember war." Vel Terran didn't understand. "Then you understand why we need you." The humans shook their heads. "That's exactly why we won't come." He tried everything. Promises, trade, power, threats. Still, they said no. Every time we joined a war, the humans said, the stars cried. He left Earth angry. "They think they're too good for us," he told the Council. "They think they're safe." One Council member leaned forward. "Maybe they are." Everyone laughed. Earth had no great weapons, no strong armies, no advanced defenses. But some in the galaxy had heard whispers, old stories. From soldiers who had studied human history, they spoke of 2 world wars on Earth's own soil, of cities burning, rebuilt again, of humans who fought with sticks, then swords, then fire, then machines, of how they never stopped, never forgot. Others believed the humans were weak because they didn't fight now. But the whispers grew. One Zarkan fleet commander, planning his attack on a Velari planet, stopped when he read an old file on humans. "They only join when the pain is too deep," he whispered. "And when they do, nothing stands." Still, the war raged on. The Velari poisoned the oceans of Zarkan colonies. The Zarkan dropped black holes on Velari cities. One by one, small worlds vanished. Species went extinct. The Council begged again. "Earth, please, if you don't help, we all die." They received a message from Earth, just one sentence. "If you fall, it is because you forgot what we still remember." No one understood. One bold species, the Arcane, tried to send spies to Earth. The ships returned without their memories. The crews were quiet, empty, and the whispers turned into fear. Someone said Earth had no weapons because Earth was the weapon. But the Council didn't believe it. They sent one more request. They begged. And this time, Earth answered. A human voice echoed through the Council's chamber. It was cold, calm, slow. "You have called us. You have awakened what we tried to bury. You asked for help, but you did not ask what help would cost." The room went silent. Then the stars began to change. Old human ships, hidden in deep space, began to move. Slow at first, then fast, too fast. The humans were coming. No one knew how many. No one knew where they would land. But they were coming. And those who had begged for help started to pray they had not made a mistake. Because the humans weren't coming to choose a side. They were coming to end the war. The galaxy waited. They had called the humans. They had begged. And Earth had finally answered. But nothing happened. No armies arrived. No great ships came from the sky. No message followed. Only silence. Strange, heavy silence. It spread through the stars like a dark cloud. Planets that had once cheered now grew quiet. Leaders who had demanded Earth's help now waited in fear, because no one knew what the humans were doing. Some said Earth was still preparing. Some said Earth was watching. Others believed something worse, that Earth had already begun. Ships went missing in sectors near Earth. Small scout teams vanished. One Villari listening post recorded strange sounds, like metal tearing, like screaming, and then nothing. No explosion, no trace, just empty space. The Galactic Council grew nervous. They sent a new spy team. The best they had, half machine, full trained, silent as shadows. They entered Earth's solar system with stealth. They never came back. Only one message returned, a short audio file. One sentence: "We told you to let us sleep." Panic began to grow. The Council demanded answers. Are the humans attacking? Are they building something? Where are their weapons? So they sent drones, thousands of them, invisible, fast, programmed to scan everything. The drones reached Earth. What they found shocked the Council. Nothing. No battle fleets. No new weapons. Just forests. Cities. People walking. Talking. Laughing. Children playing near rivers. Old humans sitting on benches, reading. No alarms. No war. Earth looked peaceful. Like a dream. Like it didn't care. But the drones recorded strange things. Humans looking at the sky, waiting. One old man pointed up at the drone, even though it was cloaked. He smiled and said, "Still watching." The drone burned from the inside. Gone. It was clear. Humans knew they were being watched, and they didn't care, because they were not hiding. They were remembering. One young alien officer, part of a secret team, went down to Earth on foot, disguised, hidden. She walked through cities. She heard music, stories, laughter. But there was something else, a feeling in the air, like tension under skin, like a wound that never healed. She met a human boy at a train station. He looked up and asked, "Are you scared?" She laughed. "Of what?" He didn't blink. "Of us." She shook her head. "You have no warships, no shields. What would I be scared of?" The boy didn't answer. He just looked at her. And for a moment, she felt hollow, like something deep inside her cracked. She left Earth quickly, and she couldn't sleep after that. More reports arrived. Every spy sent to Earth came back different. Quiet, afraid. Some stopped speaking completely. Others cried at night. One even tried to erase all memory of the mission. The Council held an emergency meeting. One Zarkan general stood and shouted, "They're weak. They are playing mind games." But the Villari admiral across from him said, "Then why are we the ones who are afraid?" A whisper passed through the chamber. Maybe Earth was never weak. Maybe silence was their war drum. One council elder finally said, "We begged them to join, and now we are the ones trembling." In a deep part of space, near the ruins of a battle, something new appeared. A single human ship, old, small, not even armed. It floated near a broken Zarkan war cruiser. The cruiser had survivors. They tried to call for help. The human ship didn't respond. It just waited. Then it opened a channel and sent one message. "We remember your screams." The Zarkan ship exploded from the inside. No shots fired. No missiles. Just gone. The council watched the footage in horror. Still, Earth said nothing. They had joined the war, but in their own way. No flags. No warnings. Just silence. And death. Now every commander in the galaxy had the same question. Where will they strike next? Because the humans weren't coming fast. They were coming quiet. And no one, not even the ones who called them, felt safe anymore. The galaxy had started to fear Earth. Humans had said nothing more. They had sent no leaders, no warnings, no promises. Just a single ship that destroyed a Zarkan cruiser without weapons. Just silence. Cold, strange silence. Some species thought Earth was still bluffing. That the humans were using fear as a weapon. That there was no real power behind her quiet face. Then came the mistake. It began with a young Zarkan commander named Rethtal. He was angry. His brother had died in the war. His planet was burned by the Velari. He wanted revenge, and he wanted the war to end quickly. He believed humans were only pretending to be strong. So he attacked Earth. His fleet was large, over 50 warships. Fast, armed, trained for planet invasions. He called it Operation Earthfall. He didn't ask permission from the Council. He didn't send a warning. He just moved. When his fleet arrived at the edge of Earth's solar system, they saw nothing. No defense line, no satellites, no fleets waiting. It was like Earth had no idea they were coming. "This will be easy," Rethtal said. "We'll land, take their leaders, and show the galaxy that humans are cowards." He gave the order. His ships moved in. They passed Mars. They passed the Moon. Still nothing. Then, just before entering Earth's orbit, all their systems glitched. Lights flickered. Engines slowed. Communications went silent. And then they saw it. One human ship. Small. No weapons. Just like the one that destroyed the Zarkan cruiser. Rethtal laughed. "That's it. That's all they have." He sent a message. "Surrender now, humans, or we bring fire." The human ship sent no reply. Then Reth's ship stopped moving. Dead still. He tried to restart engines. Nothing worked. He tried to fire weapons. They were cold. He screamed orders. Then, one by one, the ships in his fleet began to vanish from the radar. No explosions. No sound. Just gone. His crew watched in horror. Ship after ship disappeared. A young Zarkan officer shouted, "Sir, we don't understand. There's no attack. Nothing's touching us." And then the human ship sent a final message. It was a video. No words. Just old Earth footage. Mushroom clouds rising in the sky. Tanks rolling through fire. Cities falling. People fighting with stones and sticks when nothing else was left. And at the end of the video, a human soldier covered in dirt, blood on his face, standing in the ashes, looking at the camera, saying just one thing: "You came to our home. We warned you." The message ended, and the last ship in Rethtal's fleet vanished. Back at the Council, news of the failed invasion spread fast. Zarkan leaders were furious. The humans attacked our fleet. Velari leaders were silent. The Council watched the video sent by Earth again and again. No one could explain it. No weapons, no explosions, but the Zarkan fleet was gone. It was not war. It was judgment. And now, the humans were awake. In the days after the attack, strange things happened. Human ships appeared in battle zones, but didn't fight. They simply passed through, and every weapon nearby shut down. One time, a Velari scout ship locked weapons on a human ship by mistake. The scout ship never returned. A message was left in its place. "You called us to the war. We did not ask to come." Now the galaxy understood. The humans were not choosing sides. They were not playing games. They were ending things. The Zarkan tried to apologize. They sent messages, gifts, peace talks. Earth said nothing. They just kept moving. Silent, watching, unstoppable. And in every corner of the galaxy, commanders, soldiers, and spies whispered the same thing. The first mistake was waking them. The war had changed. After the Zarkan fleet vanished near Earth, the galaxy stopped laughing at humans. Fear took its place. Quiet fear, cold fear, the kind that grows when something terrible doesn't speak, doesn't show its full power, but moves like a shadow. The humans were awake now, and they were not hiding anymore. One by one, human ships began to appear in war zones. They didn't look like warships. They had no guns, no shields, no visible armor. They looked like old cargo ships, rusted metal and strange shapes. But when they arrived, the fighting stopped. Weapons would fail. Ships would freeze in space. Entire fleets would lose power. Then, the human ships would vanish. Both sides, Zarkan and Velari, grew terrified, not of death, but of not understanding. They had seen every kind of enemy. Strong, fast, smart, but they had never seen this. A war without bullets. A fight without fire. Just fear. The Council sent a final message to Earth. Please, tell us what you want. Earth replied, we want the war to stop. You asked for us. This is what it costs. And then came the human front. It wasn't a fleet. It wasn't a base. It was people. Humans began to land on planets in conflict. Not in armies. Not with orders. They came in small groups, sometimes only 2 or 3. No weapons, just strange tools, small machines, quiet drones. They walked through battlefields like they weren't even afraid. A Zarkan sniper fired at one. The bullet froze in midair. The sniper dropped his rifle. He couldn't move. His body was locked. The human looked up, calm, and said, this is your last shot. Ever. The sniper vanished. On another planet, a Velari tank division surrounded 2 human scientists collecting soil. They warned them to leave. The humans didn't even look up. One of them said, you're standing on stolen ground. And the tanks melted. Not exploded, melted into the earth like they were never real. After that, no one dared point weapons at humans again. Because now they understood. The humans were the weapons. The Zarkan military command collapsed. Generals refused to fight. Velari leaders shut down their attack systems, scared the humans might punish them next. And the Council. They were lost. This is not how wars are fought, one elder said. No, another replied, but it is how wars are ended. Behind the fear, some began to ask a different question. How? How did humans do it? No shields, no weapons, no fleets. Yet they were winning. Then, an old alien scholar stood in front of the Council and said, humans do not build weapons to fight others. They build them to survive themselves. Their history is full of war, pain, fire. But they learned something no other species did. What is that? A council member asked. The scholar's voice shook. How to break everything, including themselves. The room went silent. And in that silence, another report arrived. Human ships had entered a battlefield near the last Velari stronghold. Zarkan and Velari troops were both present. They were still fighting, still shooting, still burning the land. The humans walked between them. No armor, no fear. Bullets and plasma stopped midair. Explosions paused, frozen in the wind. The humans spoke once. You begged us to stop your war. This is your only warning. The soldiers dropped their weapons. Some ran. Some fell to their knees. And in the sky above, a message appeared in every language. War ends now. No one fought after that day. Not the Zarkan. Not the Velari. Not even the pirates or raiders who once attacked the weak. Because now, fear walked beside every starship. It whispered in every control room. It stood behind every commander. The humans had not taken sides. They had not chosen winners or losers. They had simply ended the war. But how? That was the question burning in every mind across the galaxy. How did humans stop everything? How did they destroy fleets with no weapons? How did they silence armies without firing a shot? The council held secret meetings. They pulled in the oldest minds, the most hidden scholars, the forgotten spies. All came with one answer. It's not power, it's fear. But this fear was different. It didn't come from destruction. It came from uncertainty. Humans didn't show their technology. They didn't explain their tools. They didn't brag. That made them more terrifying, because no one knew what they were truly capable of. Some believed they had advanced machines, tools that could control gravity, stop time, break physics. Others thought humans had unlocked something worse, something not even science could explain. Whatever it was, it worked. The humans didn't threaten. They just arrived. They didn't shout. They just looked. They didn't attack. They just stood still, and things broke around them. An old Villari spy once said, "The scariest thing about humans is not what they do. It's what they don't do." The council tried to test this. They sent tiny ships near Earth again, drones with cameras, cloaked and silent. Every drone failed, but one made it through. What it saw was simple. Earth was calm. No armies, no ships building in space, no great machines, just people, walking, working, laughing, dreaming, living. And beneath that peace, a terrible truth. Humans didn't look like warriors. They looked like survivors. That was the secret. They had already lived through things worse than this war, worse than any alien could imagine. They had survived extinction, burned worlds, nuclear fire, famine, plagues. Each time, they got back up. Each time, they came back stronger. No species had done that. The Villari had knowledge. The Zarkan had strength. But humans, they had pain, and they learned to use it. That pain became patience. That patience became silence. And that silence became fear. The kind of fear that makes enemies drop their guns. The kind of fear that ends wars without blood. The kind of fear that makes the galaxy look at Earth and whisper, "Never again." Some wanted to speak to the humans, to ask for peace, for answers. But the humans were quiet. They only said, "You woke us. We'll sleep again, when it's safe." And that made the galaxy more afraid, because no one knew what would happen if the humans decided never to sleep again. Long before the war, before the Zarkan and Villari even reached the stars, Earth was already burning. Humans had nearly destroyed themselves many times. They fought wars that left cities in ashes. They built weapons that could break the sky. They poisoned their oceans, starved their people, and still, they lived. And they remembered. That was what made humans different. They remembered everything. Every war, every mistake, every sacrifice. Even after thousands of years, they still told stories of pain, of courage, of loss. The galaxy didn't understand this. Most alien species erased their past. They forgot dark times to build a better future. But humans kept their scars. They studied them. They wore them like armor. They said things like "never again" and "lest we forget." And they meant it. They built museums of war, not to show power, but to remind themselves how close they came to ending everything. They trained their children not to fight, but to understand the cost of fighting. And when the galaxy begged them to join the war, they did not rush in. They waited. They watched. Because they knew what war really meant. They were not afraid of dying. They were afraid of becoming what they had once been. That was why, when the Zarkan attacked Earth, humans didn't fight back with fire. They fought back with reminders, images, stories, memories. They made the galaxy feel the weight of war like only a human could. A Villari historian once said, "When I saw a human battle recording, I cried for a planet I'd never seen." That's when I understood. They carry the pain of 10,000 years in their eyes. Even the strongest soldiers looked away when humans spoke of Earth's past, because no other species had survived so much and stayed standing. No other species had built weapons to end themselves, and then chose to never use them again. That was the real power, not in guns, not in ships, but in choice. The choice to hold back, the choice to sleep, even when they could destroy. That's why the council grew silent. They realized something awful. They hadn't invited a soldier to the war. They had awakened a ghost. The ghost of a world that had already burned. And now that ghost walked through their stars, reminding everyone what the end truly looked like. On the ruins of a battlefield, a single sentence was found burned into stone, written in Earth language. We are not your saviors. We are your future if you do not change. And slowly, the war ended. Not with a treaty, not with a surrender, but with understanding. Because now the galaxy knew what humans were, the ones who remember. The stars were quiet again. The war had stopped. No battles, no gunfire, no fleets moving in the dark, only silence. And everyone knew why. The humans had returned to Earth. They did not conquer. They did not destroy. They did not rule. They simply left. But they left a message behind. One that every species, every planet, every leader read with shaking hands. Let the humans sleep. It was not a threat. It was a warning, a promise, a truth. The council met one last time. No shouting, no arguing, just quiet voices and worried eyes. One of the Zarkan generals stood and asked, "Do we truly understand what we did?" A Valari elder replied, "We woke something that never wanted to wake." They had begged the humans to help them win a war. They didn't understand that humans don't join wars to win. They join to end them. And once they do, they leave. The galaxy had seen it now. Power without pride. Strength without cruelty. Pain turned into purpose. That was what humans brought. And that was what they could bring again, if needed. So every star nation signed a new rule. A law not written in ink or data, but in fear and respect. Never wake Earth again. Let them dream. Let them live. Let them stay quiet. Because if they rise a second time, it won't be a warning. The humans had made it clear. They were tired. Tired of war. Tired of being called monsters. Tired of fixing problems made by others. They wanted peace, a true peace, not one built on fear, but on choice. One Earth leader had spoken to the council before they left, a woman with gray eyes and a calm voice. She said, "We were sleeping because we were healing. You forced us to remember what we had buried. Now we remember, and we will not forget again." That message was enough. The galaxy rebuilt. Slower, quieter. Borders were softened. Weapons were lowered. Children were taught about the time humans came. Not as heroes, not as enemies, but as a mirror. A mirror showing what every species could become if they were not careful. And on Earth, life returned to normal. People worked, played, laughed, dreamed. The stars still watched them, afraid and amazed, because Earth looked weak. No shields, no weapons, no armies. But they knew the truth now. Earth was never defenseless. Its defense was not in metal or machines. It was in memory, in pain, in the quiet choice to be kind, even when you have the power to destroy. That is why, as the years passed, the message remained on every world, on every moon, in every port and ship and classroom, carved into walls, stamped into laws, whispered like a prayer. Let the humans sleep. And if you ever think of waking them again, remember what happened the last time.